Here we are. We been talking online here lately how to make hole repairs. And since I'm putting these Grover tuners in, pull one out here. It has a leg that goes that away, and so the tuner holes they had pre-drilled in here don't work with these Grover tuners. These are the real Grovers. These aren't the thick ones. And what I have to also do, I use my reamer. I have to ream out these holes so that these will slide down in there. And it works out really good. And so once this dries a little bit, I'll cut that off. And I'll sand that down a little bit. And I'll take some of this ivory paint, just drop that paint right on there, and then you won't even see it. Most of them covered up when I painted it, so I'm not going to worry about them. This one here I may fix here in just a little bit. I just wanted to show you that. And you can use toothpicks. Toothpicks work good for these little holes like this, and or you can use matchsticks, you know, for the bigger holes. And it's all good. And I use the Type Bond Original on all my guitars. That's all I use. I don't use a Type Bond 2 or 3. What I found out with the Type Bond 2 and 3 when I was doing laminated necks and all that stuff, when you laminate your woods together, those leave a glue line, a visible glue line, and that's not always a good thing. Where the Type Bond Original dries clear, you don't see a glue line, and that's why I use it. And unless you plan on using your guitar for a paddle in a boat, you really don't need the Type Bond 2 or 3. But you all do you, and I do me. That's all I've ever used on my guitars. After I learned about the glue line in my early days of making guitars. Anyway, all right, I'll bring you back in as soon as I get more here. All right, here we go. And I'd show you how I do this reaming. We're almost there now. We got just these 2 more to go. So you ream that out. You can use a drill if you want. I don't care what you use. You can use a drill, you can use a reamer, drill press, whatever it takes. You know, I just watched a video a minute ago. I'm not going to say who it was. He's a real popular guitar builder on YouTube. And I don't like his attitude towards hobby builders. He pretty much just said that all of us hobby builders are nothing but hacks because we can't afford to go out and spend $1,000 or more on a stupid little tool so that you can get your frets pressed in the correct way. I remember when he first started out, he was just as big as hack as anybody else out there. And now all of a sudden he's a professional. Anybody doesn't buy these high-end tools that he uses, you're nothing but a hack. And I don't appreciate that kind of attitude towards hobby builders. I've been building guitars for over 20 years now. And I've always used simple tools to do them. I never said I was professional, but I have built guitars for other people, custom guitars for other people, and what I do works for me. But I am not going to go out and spend thousands of dollars on tools that I don't need. And if he I can see where he can justify it because they make a lot of guitars. But at one time, I made 6 custom guitars in a year time. And for a hobby guy like me, that's a lot of guitars. And and I did it all with simple tools and my knowledge of how guitars work and go together. And I'm sorry that he thinks that we're all hacks. But he forgets where he started from. He was more of a hack than most of us out there. I remember when he first started his YouTube channel and all the mistakes that they made. And now that he's got all these followers and he's being sponsored by a name company and all that stuff, he thinks he's better than everybody else, and he's not. It's guys like him that take the fun out of stuff like what I do, and like what many of you out there do. You know. Well, anyway, enough on that. There they are. Now all I gotta do is I'm gonna line them up better, drill little holes in there, and then put my screws in. And the tuners will be done. What I did too, I reshaped my truss rod cover a little bit and covered it in copper. So that'll be going on. I'm going to use black screws in it. But anyway, so I'm going to line these up. Now there's a couple of ways, rules of thumbs you can do this, but because this has this curve in it, they don't always line up perfectly straight going across here. Not always. This was done at the factory under professional supervision. And you can see right there, see how far out this one is? So it'd be really hard, and this one up here, it's really hard to judge the straightness of these two tuners. So what I do, I come in here, get these two center ones as straight as I can, then I move this down and see where it's kind of like at, and it looks good enough to me. And I just line that up the best I can. May twist it a little bit, but see, I don't like that. I like it more even across the top, so that's what we're going to do. We're just coming here. Okay, we're almost there. Just like that. There we go. Now those are straight according to the headstock up here. So anyway, I'm still looking at it. I'm going to twist that just a little bit that way. Same way with this one. Just a little bit. So anyway, so now what I'll do, I'll drill them out. I'll put them screws in. Here's the screws. There's some of them anyway. We'll put those in. And again, I like to lubricate the screws before we screw them down in the wood. And we'll see where this goes here in a minute. You just want to be careful not to drill all the way through your headstock there. I said stuff a while ago. But what do I know? Just a hack. So again, take some of your, whatever you want to lubricate it with. Put a little bit on the see if I can see. Very hard trying to do this. Here we go. Put a little bit of that on there. I must have put my screwdriver away. And if you're lucky and the wind's blowing right, that'll go in. I'm sorry, I'm not using a StewMac screwdriver. It may not work right. All I'm going to do is snug that down in there because I still got to tighten up on them, on the nuts on the other side. But we're just going to get these in place for one so I don't lose them. Again, I'm just using my Hackery 1000 screwdriver here from Harbor Freight. Which if you use tools from Harbor Freight, it'll make your guitar sound different. Oh yeah, do you know that? Yeah. Yeah, if you use tools from Harbor Freight, you know, your guitar won't come out right. I didn't spend enough money on my screwdrivers. I guess back when I was a diesel mechanic and I had to make my own tools to get things to work right, I guess that was hackery too, because I didn't go out and spend $1,000 on a tool that I could make. Same way with guitars. I have made so many jigs and a lot of my own tools because I can't justify going out spending all this money on stuff you don't need. So I guess that's all I am. I'm just a guitar hacker. 20 years into this stuff and I don't know anything. Of course, at my age, I wish I was 17 because back when I was 17 years old, I knew it all. Oh well, I'm tired of griping. Yeah, I don't feel good today. When I don't feel good, I get gripey. But I'm going to pursue on this guitar and get it done. I asked you all out on the last video if you think I should leave that tailpiece green or not. Nobody's answered me yet. That's the other thing too. I loaded that last video in high depth. It took like 4.5 hours to load that thing. And I really don't think any of you really care less. It's in high depth or no depth. So I'm not going to do that no more. I only did that because it said the algorithms like it better if you do stuff in high depth. Yeah, baloney. Waste of time. Well, anyway, there they are on the back side. Now I'll flip this guitar over and we'll tighten down on the nuts. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let's see if this will work. Oh, that's too big. There we go. That is a $13/32. So probably a 10 millimeter would have worked, or 12. What I'm doing is I can feel that slipping on up inside the headstock because I'm tightening it up. I'm not over tightening. I think that's it. So now I'll flip it back over. Finish screwing them little screws down. And again, you don't want to over tighten anything on a guitar. I see a lot of you guys clamping really hard down on these little screws, and what you're going to end up doing, you're going to snap those heads off, and you will have problems. I work with some really super hard woods where sometimes I'd snap the heads off, taking them back out. The heads would pop right off. Alrighty, there we have it. The tuners are in. Tuners are in. I know I'll probably have to check the truss rod again, but I'm just going to lay that on there. That's kind of how that looked like. And then I'll put my brand name up here. Oh, that's just polish on there. I thought I scratched it. It's just polish. And I'll put my brand up here in a little while. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and screw this on. I'm not going to let you watch me do that, but I'm going to screw this on. And then the next thing I'll be doing is coming in here, cleaning up the fretboard, polish the frets up a little bit, and then we'll see what happens after that. Alrighty, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Okay, she's almost ready to go. I just rechecked the frets again with my fret rocker here. Keep things from falling on me. Just a inexpensive fret rocker. Does not come from StewMac. Some of my hackery tools that I use, but there's no frets or rocking anywhere on the neck. So I think I'm good to go as far as that goes. All right, I'm going to quit for the day. Tomorrow I'll be stringing her up, putting strings on it for the very first time. I'll probably have to adjust the pickups afterwards, adjust the truss rod some, to get the bow right. I like my necks almost flat anyway. I don't like a lot of bow in my necks. But anyway, there it is with the knobs on it. Tailpiece is still sitting there loose. I still have to screw that on. But you can kind of see what it looks like now. Back up here a little bit. All right, that's it for the day. There'll probably be a part 4 on this coming up this week with it all strung up and playing. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.